Hey everybody, welcome back. Whether you're keeping up with the Jonases, you like a clean cockpit like this, or you just like to try new things, there's something to be said about the new SRAM AXS devices. I have looked at the AXS drivetrain in previous videos, and today I'm gonna be looking at this, the Reverb or their Reverb AXS dropper post. Let's check it out. And the reality is that this stuff has been out for a couple of years now, so you can find it as a fresh takeoff or even secondhand, and that's exactly what I got here. This is actually a long 170 dropper post that was a fresh takeoff, so I got it just the dropper and the remote. I didn't get the charger either, however the charger and the battery are identical with what's used by the AXS drivetrains, and I already have both. And the very first thing you're going to notice is definitely this humongous head, and the weight is a bit unbalanced towards the head as well. Minimum insertion point and also the details of the dropper post, you can see mine is a 31.6 170. And by the way, the maximum length of the dropper is also mentioned here. If you are worried about fit into the frame, that minimum insertion point is at 10 centimeters from the bottom of that vent valve. And if you're wondering how sophisticated this stuff is, on this other side you're gonna have a ton of certifications for these devices. You can see Bluetooth and Plus and all the other stuff that's needed to sell this around the world. And this is made in Taiwan, just like all the other SRAM AXS components. The Reverb is well known for the dreaded sag when sitting on the dropper, and even though SRAM says that 5mm of sag is normal, I don't think it's normal. At the bottom of the dropper you have this vent valve that will help you burp the air that might have mixed with the oil. This is something that Bike York Revive introduced a while ago, and now a lot of droppers have it. This is a welcome addition to Reverb for sure. The procedure is pretty simple. It needs two people, and it also needs this little tool. This is provided with the dropper if you were to buy it new. In my case, again, I bought it as a fresh takeoff, so it didn't include it. You can find it separately, or you can 3D print it like I did here. The brains of this device is up here in the head. This is where you're gonna have a little servo motor. You have the AXS button and an LED. Obviously you're gonna need a battery to install right here. AXS battery is a 7.4 volt battery, 300 milliamps. You can order more spares using this part number here, and it would charge in about an hour using the provided charger. The same battery is used by the Reverb and the same retention mechanism. The only difference from the AXS drivetrain is that this is installed upside down. So you push it up first, down, and the clip. There it goes. Once you press on the AXS button, you're gonna have the LED coming on, and in this case, the dropper extended. Doo-doo! Otherwise, a simple press of the button is gonna give you the status of the battery. Green is good, and then they have red and flashing red. Interestingly, you can operate this Reverb just by using the AXS button. If you just press on it once, it's gonna release it, then you push it down to whatever position that you are interested in and press the AXS button one more time. It's gonna lock it into place, and that way you can operate it without the controller, just in case you get run out of battery or something happens to it or whatever else. Obviously you would never use it like that. You would use it with the controller. This operates exactly the same way that a mechanical remote would operate. So you have to press and hold in order to operate the dropper. CR2032 coin cell battery inside. You have the LED here, and you have the pairing button or the status button of AXS. The controller has to be paired with the dropper in a similar fashion with the rest of the AXS group set. When it comes to finish, this looks a little bit better than the GX, but remember this was launched together with X01, XX1 that kind of look flashier. You have two positions to install these controllers, just like with any other SRAM shifters. And if you ever wonder, this is an actual filler. So if you grab a 2.5mm, you can remove that and put it in the other slot. Weight of a dropper post is always important. In this case, the 170 with the battery comes up to 703 grams. That's about 150 grams more than a regular 170 dropper post. If you add the remote, that makes it 758. Obviously you're gonna need a bar clamp, so here's your 770. That's probably about 120 grams more than a mechanical actuated dropper post. I really feel for the SRAM sponsor athletes that have to carry this on a cross-country course. And most of that weight probably comes from this redesigned head, which I mentioned to be quite innovative. And I'm not talking about the use of the T25 Torx, because that's what you need on this bolt and this bolt up front. Now, pretty much everything you need to know is written down. This is used to adjust tilt, and this one bolt is gonna hold the saddle in its rails. The trick here is to have this somewhat loose when you're adjusting the tilt on the saddle, and with that bolt loosened up, you can push in your saddle rails. Start tightening this up, but don't tighten it all the way. Next, install the dropper in the frame, and SRAM highly recommend using some carbon paste, as they don't recommend more than 6 Nm on the seat post clamp. And now you can adjust the saddle tilt using that bolt up front. Remember, this is not tightened yet. And now you can use the same T25 Torx just to tighten that bolt to 12 Nm, and you're good to go. And the first thing that came to my mind was, well, no saddlebag with this type of dropper. There's just not enough room back there. And while other manufacturers are aiming for minimal stack height, in this case you have about 3 centimeters from the rails to the top of the collar. The collar itself is about 3 centimeters again. So you're talking about 6 centimeters stack height for this dropper post. Keep that in mind when sizing it for your needs. And next you're gonna have to install the remote on the handlebar. This installs just like a regular shifter. Obviously this is matchmaker compatible if you have SRAM brakes, or if you have Shimano brakes like I do. You might want to look for adapters like this. In my case is iSpec EV. I ended up installing the controller using one of these old SRAM bar clamps, pretty much this one, because it allows me to bring the button right here underneath the bar, and it's a very convenient position for me. That is different than the bar clamp that they come with, which has this extra 5 millimeters down. I don't need that for the dropper. This has to be easy to push and very conveniently located at my thumb. Been using the Reverb AXS for about a week now, and I gotta tell you, right now I'm not thinking of it as being any different than any dropper that I've ever had, and that's a good thing. The remote is very conveniently located right here next to the grips, and you're just one click away. This is all it's needed to lower the saddle or raise it. Also, there is just a perfect spring tension underneath this paddle, just so it's not too flimsy. Anyway, I like this a lot. It's the first thing that I loved about the Reverb AXS. Otherwise, it just works. Like I said, it's very fast to return. There is 250 PSIs installed in this cartridge, but it's not adjustable, so it's not as if you can adjust that up and down motion. It's super fast, and you have a positive stop at the end of the travel. Using it with the AXS app, and you can do firmware updates. And the only other thing that you can do here in the system, you can configure controls. You can change the paddle assignment here to make it work for shifting gears. But again, kind of limited functionality with the app, and is not really needed for this dropper post. But one thing that drove me bananas over the last week is this noise. Hear that vibration? Well, you can hear it while riding everywhere. One thing that SRAM doesn't really say is, once you use this tilt adjuster knob here or bolt here at the front, don't let it loose like this. You gotta have it tightened up after you tighten up this clamp to 12 Newton meters. So now the same dropper, see, the noise is gone. So keep that in mind when installing. So what do I think about this Reverb AXS after using it for a little while? Well, first of all, this is not the Reverb of the past. I've had Reverbs before and I wasn't too impressed by them. This one works flawlessly right now. It is an interesting gimmick. If it wasn't for the high price, I would highly recommend it to anyone. And that should be the end of my video, folks. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. As usual, if you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. And until next time, hope to see you on the trails. Why not using a Reverb AXS dropper post? Cheers, guys. Cheers.